It's currently 10:03 p.m. And not too long ago, pretty much just now, Dan and I got done with some cleanup operations in the spare room, in which primarily I helped Dad dump some stuff out from the spare room into the dumpster. We used a large cardboard box to do this. I've primarily been working on this in the hours right before noon, a couple of hours right before noon, when I went to bed for today, and I think I woke up at 4 p.m. And my nose is currently stuffed up because Dan and I kind of kicked up quite a bit of dust while we cleaned up the spare room. So we could get ready to move out of this apartment unit and move into Dad's new house. And at one point, Dad found our "In Ants Go Marching" children's book, but he opted to throw that away. Put it into the large cardboard box we used as a sort of garbage can, though the first time I went out to dump it, I ended up throwing away the large cardboard box itself because I forgot Dad had been using that as a garbage bag. That way, we don't have to make as many trips when throwing out junk from the apartment. We found some sentimental things that we kept. This is a Korean barbecue pork bowl that Dad got for me after work. Most likely around 7 p.m. And the Core Life Eatery location that's at the mall, they have pork now. After not having it for at least a week. I ended up having a thing of mac and cheese. That Bob Evans mac and cheese. An whole container right before noon. Because I knew if I had it if I didn't have it before going to bed, I had stayed up so late by that point, I'd basically be having it for dinner by the time I woke up, I figured. And I didn't know how long it would be before I would suddenly feel tired, so I didn't wait till noon to start microwaving it. Yeah, for some reason, the mac and cheese ended up being particularly creamy this time around. Or maybe particularly thick. Is the right word, or maybe the right word is rich. That's the sort of sense that I got in terms of the taste. The later part of the cleanup process, which was roughly from maybe 7:30 at the earliest, but most likely started around 8 p.m. until now, pretty much. Was to help Dad with disassembling the top bunk of the bunk bed and throwing away the parts into the dumpster. By either holding it apart in place while Dad unscrewed apart, or carrying apart to the dumpster, of which I did both of those things for the left end of the top bunk, which was essentially this big piece of wood. What I'm trying to do for the 99th Dan Hamming episode currently is to decide what karaoke song to have, whatever styrofoam drawing I use as a prop character. Which at this point, I might pick a dark-skinned man with a polo that has a beach landscape on it. At one point I considered using Oh No by Cap One, but it turns out it seems someone did an instrumental version of that song. If I remember correctly, it's Keisha or something like that. Kiba, not Keisha, maybe. It starts with a K. It turns out the artist who did the instrumental is Kriba. Maybe Cap One did the lyrics, or the lyrics version. Either way, the lyrics of that song are very simple. Only 2 verses, one of which is "Oh no" over and over again. Either "Oh no" or some "Oh" followed by a bunch of no's. Hey, it's a good song still, but it's not something I would consider repeatedly listening to. And my current thinking is maybe using Daisy Bell. It turns out there is a karaoke version of Daisy Bell. Oh No by Cap One is royalty free. Before I thought of Daisy Bell, I considered Algorithm Knows Best by Little Skullface XD, but I couldn't find an instrumental version of that in order to make a sort of karaoke version by using the instrumental and then having a text-to-speech voice sing the lyrics. Plus, Algorithm Knows Best by Little Skullface isn't royalty free. I thought of Daisy Bell in particular because it's old enough that it's in the public domain. At one point during the cleanup process of the spare room, Dad gave me this shirt. What I like about it is that it's got a nice plaid design. It fits pretty good enough for it to be comfortable. It was initially thought that it would be too big for me, but as it turns out, it's quite comfortable, and it's thick enough for it to be suitable for the fall. This is where I'm at currently in Elvenar. At one point in the morning, there was one of those typical air pockets that are an inherent part of polystyrene. I tried to find an ultrafine Sharpie marker of the color that makes up the outline of the eye and eyelid. I couldn't, so I kind of tried to force a fine tip into the air pocket. I managed to do that somewhat, but not without an overlap. And then I kind of dug out the overlap foam part with my fingernails, resulting in a somewhat unsightly larger air hole, but because it's not a natural air hole on polystyrene, but still in general, it's still a pretty nice Santa Claus polystyrene drawing. In hindsight, if I do another Santa polystyrene drawing for the outlines of those buttons, I'm probably going to want to use this color rather than the black ultrafine Sharpie marker I used. It still looks pretty good, but I just feel that using that color the next time around, if there's a next time, it would be the better choice. Right before I fell asleep around noon, I think around 12:30 in the afternoon, I got woke up by my dad calling me back because I called him about half an hour earlier because I wanted to remind him to get us some milk, since at the time we were running low, because I had a glass of milk with the mac and cheese that I had for lunch. And he did that after work by going to Aldi's, from what I recall. And this is where I'm at currently on the research tree. So I ended up going to bed around 12:30 in the afternoon. At which point, for some reason, It might sound weird, but maybe my beard ached. Sort of patch on the left side of my neck or something, since my beard is centered around my neck rather than my face. Maybe that was just a result of being woken up from kind of the verge of falling asleep. Either way, I slept pretty well and woke up around 4 in the afternoon. Which isn't enough sleep, but that's the time I naturally woke up.